Right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Summer. Look at me having to use my diaphragm today. Dennis isn't here, but he's usually like, I can't hear you. So I feel like I'm yelling at you guys. How's everyone?
Great.
Good. Wonderful. Cool. So you guys get me today. Isn't that exciting?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. Okay. All right. So we are going to get started with the TCPA because that's how we start everything. So make sure that you guys are following TCPA as you're talking to clients so that you're not, breaking the laws. It's a really, really, really big fine. Like really, it's like a ridiculously big one. So, okay. Then we're going to introduce Melissa. So Melissa, tell everyone who you are.
Yes, I am Melissa. I started at the Kent office as the DFI in September, and when Eva left, there was a position available. I was moved over to her role. So when you have any commission questions or DA requests or any of that stuff, revisions, I'm your gal.
Where do they find you?
Down in the MCA office with Emily. That's where I'm hidden away.
And if you have commission questions for her, send them to the commission's email and not to her personal email so she doesn't lose them.
That would be very helpful. Yes.
Does everyone know what commission's email is?
AWPS commissions at gmail.com.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And we'll be teaching every Thursday at 1, there's a how to get paid class. So if you're a new agent or you know of a new agent who doesn't know how to follow the steps in command on how to submit a commission, that class would be great for them to come to.
Tell them to take it when they start and take it again when they have a real life contract.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And
awesome. Yes. Cool. Well, welcome. We are so excited to have you and that you're over here.
Yes. Yes. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to make sure you get paid now. Yeah. Oh, okay. She's going to go do commissions. We like that. All right, Don, you're up.
Okay. Well, I've heard for years, decades really, that phrase, you can't force a seller to sell. Can't force a seller to sell. And it's not true. You can't force a seller to sell. If they enter into a contract with a buyer, then that would be called specific performance. The lawsuit would be called a specific performance remedy, where the buyer could sue the seller and force, the court could force the seller to bring in the deed and transfer the title. So I've been saying that for decades. No one believes me. So we just had a case of our own in which the seller had entered into a contract at the beginning of February with our buyer, and with our buyer, and so this seller it was for like a 30-day escrow, and it got all the way to closing. The buyer signed and had funds there and was all ready to go. And the seller went in to sign and said, you know what, these payoffs on these 4 liens I had, I don't think these are right, so I'm not going to sign. Unless these creditors of mine could correct their statements. So our agent asked me and said, can they do that? And I said, well, of course they can do that, but they can get sued for not complying. What they really need to do is to sign and close and work those things out with their creditors. So he spoke with the other agent about it, and they agreed mutually that they were going to go ahead and extend it for another week or 2 weeks to get these liens worked out, right? But they still, the seller still said, no, they're not budging. I'm not going to close. I'm not going to close. I'm not going to close. So our agent was wanting me to work magic, right? So I say this because sometimes both our clients and ourselves think that there's some kind of pixie dust that's sprinkled over things and it's all going to happen, right? But seriously, there's not. So it always goes through a court of law. Always, that's the only way to enforce contracts is through a court of law, right? So in this particular case, I told the agent, I said, have the buyer sue the seller. Well, is that the only thing? Yeah. There's no other remedy unless they want to just walk away, but we don't do magic. So that's what's got to be done. And I felt like, I feel a lot of times like the expectation is that I do some sort of magic on it, and there just isn't, right? So I told him strongly, I said, your buyer has an awesome case to win. You need to encourage them to sue because they're also going to get their lawyer fees paid in the long run through the court, through that specific performance action. So in the long run, it's not going to cost them anything. But in the short term, they've got to pay the lawyer. They've got to get that done, right? So what happened? And the buyer sued, and we just a week ago, we got the results from the Pierce County Court that, number one, is there some other is? The seller, the court ordered that the seller must sell to this buyer. That's the specific performance remedy in the lawsuit. Not only that, but number two, the seller must pay the buyer's lawyer's fees and all court costs incurred by the buyer for filing.
You know how much that was, John? Just out of curiosity.
It was a lot. It was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. But I don't have that.
No, but probably a good 15. So he's a good attorney. What do you think?
I don't remember, but I think it was over 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
So number three, the seller must pay for the buy down of the interest rate on the buyer's loan because now we've gone a couple of months, right?
Yeah.
So now the seller has to pay the buy down of their interest rate to get them to be able to qualify, which was, they even said the amount of money. It was a lot. Yeah. And then number four is the seller will be charged 12% interest on that money owed until paid. Or
so they gave that to the person. Wouldn't they just take it out of the first?
No, it's kind of like, so there. And you just smile. So, yeah.
John, how long was the time frame between the filing of the case and the decision?
About 3 months.
Oh, that's quick.
Yeah.
That's quick.
And then the fifth and final thing was that the seller was ordered that they may not transfer or encumber their property further until this transfer to this buyer was effective. And so with those orders in place, the buyer's position was all protected. All of their costs were recovered. Everything is going to be done. There's going to be glitches. There's already a glitch that has to do with possession. But we got the court order. And so the lawyer is going to go after it. It's going to add more onto their costs. Question?
The seller might break even because the market has changed a bit also in favor of sellers. Like if he had put it then in the market, there were a little lower rates, but the prices were high, and now.
Yeah, but it's based on contract price. So
Yeah.
that's all it's got.
What it was,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they don't give us.
Right. Question?
John, what was the contract price and what was the earnest money?
I don't remember all the details, but what I wanted to get across to you today is that yes, we have courts that are there to enforce civil courts that are there to enforce contracts. And they will, as long as our party is in the right, you know, and so that's what they're for. And I just wanted to use this example. That what a great example that I wanted to share on how this works. You know, and again, there was no magic pixie dust or anything else. It was a matter of the buyer having to sue the seller, right? And then believing that the court was going to, you know, give them all those remedies, which they did. Everything. Yes, Mark.
So 3 months go by and the market changes a little bit. Is there a chance that the lender might want to revisit appraised value if the market's shifting a little bit?
Yeah, I believe the wording in the whole thing was, you know, to make everything right for when it was. So, but they already done calculations. They already have the numbers. So, yes.
It hasn't closed yet, right? We're still
not positive, but because it was just a week ago that this came down. So, but everybody, escrow is being involved. Everybody's involved, and the lawyers are involved, and so. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because sometimes we get a little frustrated, you know, and I just wanted you to know this is how it's handled, and the courts will back our clients up if they're in the right, and not if they're in the wrong.
Evidence too for in that situation, right? But this could be an outcome.
That you would need evidence. Is that your right?
Well, I've had a few sellers who we've had to have this hard conversation at the end for. So now we have additional evidence to show what can happen in the market if they choose not to close. Right. Because most of them think nothing's going to happen. The buyer's never going to sue.
Correct. And that's frustrating when I hear that. You know, I just, you know, and earnest money disputes are a big deal. And now paragraph P of our contract doesn't just include lawyers' fees and court costs for if one sues the other. It includes interpleader costs, court costs, and lawyers' fees. So even if it's an interpleader, the winner is going to get all their costs paid for them. The loser is going to have to pay them. So the same thing for a seller who wants to not sign that rescission agreement or that, you know, Form 50 to turn the earnest money over back to the buyer because they didn't get their loan or they rejected the inspection or whatever. That seller could end up paying all the costs involved, but that's got to go through the courts. Yes.
Does everybody understand the difference between suing somebody and then interpleader? Because they're two separate things. Do you guys understand the difference? Because John's referring to two things, and I just kind of wanted to say that because I think it's a kind of a nice thing to understand the difference.
Yeah, interpleader is a part of the court.
Well, but interpleader, if that's more a dispute of earnest money, so the escrow company is required because they're holding earnest money, so it's going to go to an interpleader. We're going to have an action clause. But if it's already closed and you have a buyer that may be disgruntled with a seller or something where we get up in a lawsuit, that's not going to go to interpleader. That's going to go directly to a court. So where the paragraph is inclusive is really in both cases, but both different scenarios.
Right. Okay, any questions, comments?
Was there anything in there that addressed the seller must keep the condition of the house so it couldn't trash it? Or
good luck with that one. Yeah. Well, civil court.
Yeah, that, you know, that I don't remember seeing anything specific, but that would probably be a contempt.
This is the contract, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that number 5?
Well, it's part. Yeah, it's part of the.
It's part of possession.
Yeah, it's part of the contract. You know, so the courts can require it be fulfilled. And they might even look at it as being a contempt issue.
I had a case like
that. Okay, thank you.
My turn. Hi, how are we doing?
How are you?
Good. Today is going to look a little different. I have no fancy slides with announcements about new things coming. There are some, I'll tell you about them later. But really, what I wanted to make sure you know is what resources are available to you when I am not. Like next week when I'm not. This is me letting you know that if you hop by my office, I won't be there starting like tomorrow. I don't know if all of you know, there's some whiteboards right outside my office that have a lot of helpful information on how you can help yourself quicker than I can answer my email. So I wanted to give you guys access to some of those resources. Resource number one, answers.kw.com. You've probably heard that before and conveniently forgot it existed because the personal answers lives upstairs. They are really great. They have a whole team of people who every time there is a little random update on command, they make a step-by-step thing for you to walk you through how to do it. So if you're ever wondering how to ... in command, this is your answer. It will also tell you if that thing that you want to do is even possible. So if you're wondering, can I ... in command, answers.kw.com. All of you have probably at one point or another received a Loom video from me where my little cute face is in a circle in the corner and I walk you through how to do something. I have compiled all of my videos into a library where you can access anything I could possibly tell you. And that is available in this QR code where it says command videos. So if you are looking for some how-to walkthroughs, that is a great place to go. The other resource I want to point you to is the internet. Google is great. And there are hundreds of Market Center Tech trainers in our company. And many of them have a very high YouTube presence. You've all heard of Marty Miller. He is one of many. If you are wondering, can I do something? Does it do? Will it do? How do I do? Odds are good you can Google it and find out. I promise you that for the first like 6 months that I did this job, you all sent me an email and I Googled the answer and then I told you what Google told me. So I promise you those are all great resources for you to get information on your command questions while I am gone. Shared services will also continue. So anything that you want to participate in as far as concierge services, submit those orders as normal. And my good friend Goldie in the back and our favorite human Ty downstairs will be helping cover all of that while I am gone. Any questions about how you can help yourself become amazing at technology? Cool. Yeah, Mackenzie.
I have a comment.
Great.
Brady's, but I'm
Great.
saying aloud.
Love that.
You should print those off and put them outside.
Yeah, I just made them just now.
Okay.
So I will. Yeah. And also, everything I did, Hawaii. And our regional tech trainer, Samuel, is the world is on fire, something really important and urgent is broken. His information will also be in my away message. So you guys have plenty of resources while I am gone.
When do you come back?
I will say Wednesday. I fly back Monday, but don't ask me a question till Wednesday. Any other questions for me? Cool. I'm teaching something today. Is there a slide for it? Because I don't know what I'm teaching. That's cool. I'm teaching a class. It'll be a mystery to all of us. Yeah, I haven't looked yet. But yeah, if you want to come take class with me today at 1 o'clock, come hang out. All right. Any other questions? Burning command issues? All right, cool. Love you. Bye.
Awesome. So what have we been talking about every week at team meetings?
Shift.
Shift. Are you guys feeling that happening?
Yes.
Are you seeing it happening?
Yes.
Yeah. We've been having lots of conversations where it's been like, oh, it's here and everyone's feeling it. So today, Robin and I are going to talk to you guys about shift tactic number 9. Shift tactic number 9. That's what I said. I think. Which is great. Very, very quickly.
I need table
Oh.
Can I steal that? You can tell it's flat. Like it's flat? Can we tell
Yes,
it's flat? Oh, you can.
Okay, so shift tactic number 9 is about creating buyer urgency, right? Which seems like if you were in a buyer's market, right, are moving to a more balanced market, that buyers would want to do what?
Wait.
Yeah, well, they want to wait, but you would think they'd want to buy because there's so much opportunity. But what ends up happening is they wait for the bottom to hit. Like we had people, how many of you currently have sellers that were waiting for the top of the market and they didn't sell their house?
Yeah.
And now are going, what happened? I missed it. Right? Or they don't know yet because sellers are the last ones to know. So the same thing happens when the market shifts with your buyers. Do you agree? Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, Robin, tell everyone who you are in case they don't know.
I'm Robin. So no, I'm pretty boring. So just been doing this a little while. After about 15 years, you kind of don't want to admit you're doing it longer because they get turned into an antique. So I have a little bit of gray hair to show for it, but I'm working on blending it in. But you know, I'm mainly a listing agent. Well, we have a team, and I'm just honored to be in the business with the people that I am. I think that having the right people is everything. And I happen to have pixie dust right there. And so she's my pixie dust. And
I was offended when John said there's no such thing as pixie dust.
She really, I call her my pixie dust. And really, and she does a phenomenal job with buyers. And so that is part of our team. And then I have Jay, who's just, you know, Mr. Wonderful. So anyway, so we're very honored, and we have a few others too that to be doing this and to have buyers. So.
Awesome. Cool. So I'm gonna do some reading, although I'm not as good of a public reader as Lindy is. It makes me super nervous. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay. So when we're talking about this shift, it talks about there are 3 ways to energize your buyer urgency. So 1 is to become a local economist of choice. That's number 1. So this is what it says about it on page 182, and it has like 5 pages on this. So can you hear me? Okay. You're like looking at it, I'm like, ah. Okay, it says, as an agent and local real estate economist, you must communicate the economic and market facts to the buyers every chance you get. Every chance you get, not just one time, right? In your newsletter, on your website or blog, in your marketing pieces, in your advertising, continuously communicate local market statistics, financial information, and economic facts. Give a historical perspective as well as a current one. Share current interest rates and financing options. And in a buyer's market, the presentation of these facts generally adds up to powerful arguments on why to buy now. So it says, in fact, you'll regularly point out how this translates into buying opportunity that once gone, most likely won't come back again until next cycle. And then it'll be at higher prices, right? So Robin, yesterday you talked about this a lot, right? So do you want to tell, how does this show up in your business, and how are you communicating with your buyers to create a sense of urgency for them?
Well, of course, you know, now that, you know, the existing buyers that we have that have been looking, first of all, they're really fatigued. You know, oh my gosh, they've been going in multiple offers. They've been offering 100, and we got $422,000 over. That's insanity. Okay, that's a lot of money. So the fact is their mindset that they were gonna buy and they were gonna offer this much over at this interest rate, well, instead of offering maybe this much over, why don't we buy the interest rate down to where we liked it? Doesn't that solve the problem? Doesn't that take them back to where they were? Doesn't that take over an obstacle? So you can do that. Okay, well, we're not going to be giving it to seller. The likelihood, because we just don't have we still have competition in the market. Your buyers have just moved down a level. Literally in 3 to 4 months, they didn't lose 10%, which is a lot. It's 20%. So they were buying that $800,000 house now is $650,000. They're going, yucko. But hey, if I was going to offer money for that other one, well, maybe let's buy down that rate. It's not going to cost them $100,000 to buy that rate down. And then they're going to have that payment that they love. Right, Debbie? So that would be one that I would say. I still think you're going to see multiple offers. I don't know if they're going to be quite as aggressive. So then that kind of turns back to where our sellers are. I mean, I think we're going to see, but I don't think we're going to, I mean, I did see a few 400,000 over. We did. It was awesome. You know, sucked to be that buyer. Sorry.
Okay, cool. The second one is tapping into their why, which is one of my favorite things that you said yesterday, because you said you have to understand their emotion.
100%. They're calling you, they're looking out to you as the professional. So, I mean, you really need to know that market area. You should be paying attention to your statistics. You should be in line with the lender, so you're knowing what the rates are. You should be knowing when you're going out and looking this price range, this customer is going to have this payment, what they're expecting. Are they a new buyer that has no idea really what they were missing out on? So what, you know, because now this is where the rates are at. Okay, so are they a new buyer? Or are they a buyer that's already been looking? Because I think you need to treat those people differently. That new buyer for one thing, I wouldn't be bringing up the past. It's like, don't be looking back. You're going to cry over spilled milk. No, we're moving forward because this is reality. Okay. And so this is what the current times are. And guess what? If the rates go down, you can refinance. So here's how we're going to talk about this now. What is good for you? They're coming to you as a professional. What do they need? What are their terms? How can you position them and leverage them to make them really strong buyers? Okay. What do you need to do? How do you meet their needs in their time? That'd be what I would do.
Yeah. So in the tap into their why, which is what it says in here, it says the best way to understand a client's motivation is to ask personal questions. Are you guys asking your buyers personal questions?
Yeah. What are their needs? What are their needs? What are they looking to buy? I have a customer that has 4 little boys, and there's a property that has an acre, new front yard because they had put a whole new septic system, but there's a 30-foot drop, literally right off the back of the house. I mean, 30 feet. That's pretty steep. Goes down into this kind of boggy seasonal wetland. Can't even get down to the property unless you're a goat.
It's 8 acres. I think you misunderstood. It's not just a 1 acre property.
The front half is the usable is the only thing that's usable, and then it kind of dips down. They have 4 little boys. So this property, there's always the right property for the right people, but the fact is they've got 4 little boys under the age of 6. I see zip lines, I see tree houses, I see forts, and as soon as I said zip line, the dad's like, oh, "This is it." You know, and of course, his wife, who just gave birth to 4 of his boys, said, "I don't like that bathroom. And I don't want to pay top dollar." And she did. They did. They paid top dollar for this property. We're still in a seller's market. Inventory is still very low. How do you position your buyer to make them feel comfortable with what they need to do in the time that they need to do it? So find out what's best for them.
And one of the lines in here too that I love is on page 185, it says talking about personal wants and needs is not manipulation. So I know that I've heard that a lot. Like if you're finding out motivation and then bringing that up, you're manipulating them into buying. But the fact of the matter is we know, but bold, Jay's over there like, heck no. Logic makes us act, logic makes us think, emotion makes us act, right? So being able to tap into that motivation when situations come up like this bathroom tile is terrible, or I hate this paint. I hear that all the time. I'm like, cool, you can repaint your house. Yes, does it have everything else you need? It does. Cool, let's buy it, right? Or you should buy it, not let's, because I'm not buying it. So just understanding what they need and what they want on a really personal level will make your job as an agent easier and makes you a better agent because you're really tapping into what your clients want and need. And when they don't want to move or they're feeling that, then you can circle back around to that and help pull them along when it needs to happen.
Yeah, well, they came to you. There's a reason that they came to you. They want to do something. And really, ultimately, it's fear. How do you need to find out what their fear is. Okay, because they came to you, this is what they want to do. Are they afraid that the rates are going to go up more? Or are they afraid that they're going to miss out because the rates are going to go down? Okay, well then let's go to the mortgage calculator and let's look at different things. That was the same customer was very worried about, oh my gosh, look what the rates have done. I said, okay, well, let's look at it at this dollar amount and look at it this dollar amount. And it didn't make a whole lot of difference. It's kind of like, okay, well, maybe not be going out to dinner as much. You know, you're going to have to miss that one dinner a month. And that's the difference. Is that worth losing that property over? And if it is, that's okay. Let's move on. There's other properties out there. So it's kind of always knowing it. You don't want to make somebody's mind up for them. It has to always be put back in their shoes. Always put it back on them, because they're going to do what Summer just said. They're going to think you're pushing them. You're manipulating them. You came to me to help you. That's what we're going to do. So, you know, find those objections and find the reasons. You're not living there. It's their money, their decision.
Awesome. Okay, so the 4 strategies to overcome buyer reluctance. The first one is why wait? The hazards of timing the market. And I talked about this with your sellers just a second ago, right? You had sellers that were waiting for the top of the market. Here's the thing. Knowing exactly when that happens is really difficult. Would you guys agree with that? Mm-hmm. One day you wake up and the market is going down and you were like, I know people said that was going to happen, but I never actually thought it was going to happen. Right? Yeah.
Like Lindy's for like graph drawing thing, which is like tell me when to stop, and then you would stop a little bit too late.
Yeah, like that game you're always playing where you're trying to hit it. Yeah, exactly like that. But buyers do the same thing. Buyers choose to wait. So this is one of the objections, right? So we'll talk about what you would say with this. So if I'm your buyer and I told you, I'm going to wait for the prices to come down more.
Love that question. So I bring this up. I love this crystal ball. I have gazed into this crystal ball. Doesn't tell me anything. I wish it would. I thought about getting a magic 8 ball. That might be kind of fun, but then it might say something creepy. But, you know, you never know. But the crystal ball, you know, we all want a crystal ball. But the crystal ball is here, how long we've been doing this and how many markets that we've gone through. And so that's you as the expertise in the field, and you can explain to them and you can show them. And I have them go, buyers naturally are going to back out of the market naturally from March, April, and May. Okay. And that June to go into June. So if we go to those Allen Pope charts, which is what I talked about, Goldie, dear. So the King County charts, which Dennis shows us on a constant basis, here's the reality. Buyers naturally go to the next one. So buyers are going to go through that. Let's shut this down. So here we are, go back. So here, buyers are pulling out of the market. Even if you don't understand this chart, just leave it general. Buyers going in, buyers coming out of the market. You can sit down and talk to your customer here. Buyers are naturally coming out. If you look at this, so kind of go, let's shift it over a little bit and let's go down here. Let's go to the, no, other way, left. There you go, babies, up. So here, if we look into another year, up in meaning, no, I guess down for you. Sorry, sweetheart. Sorry, my up, you're down. I know, tomato. Anyway, so here, watch how these times, when they're going in, and the timing is very similar early in the year. These are natural trends coming down. But here's the difference. Our buyers now naturally pulling out of the market, but then they just lost 20%. Like, holy cow. Okay, well, if you were pushing $100,000 throwing or $50,000, let's talk to a really good loan officer, i.e. Debbie in the back room here. And how much would it cost me to buy my rate down? How much would it cost, Debbie? Right now, if you're going to buy it down, if you had this goes to a $500,000 house, you probably know that off the back top of your head. I would do it more like this. It depends on credit score and all of that stuff. But
well, of course.
Look at an average, like you want to drop a 1/4 point, it could cost you 0.5% to 1%. It just depends.
And what is that? If I was using a $500,000 house, is that 1%, $5,000? Is that that's a 1% buy down? A lot less than $100,000 that you're throwing it to a seller, right? Or for a bank interest rate.
Yeah, and then we
buy it down a point.
buy down 2 points. Why not? That solves your problem. I mean, I'm just saying. Buyers are naturally going to do that. So you don't have as sellers are like, oh my God, nobody's looking at my house. Well, it's June, the June bloom. Kids are all getting graduating and all of that stuff. That's why we put them on in July. It'll start picking back up. Buyers right now are going to be like, oh my God, they're in shock. We don't want to buy. We think the interest rate's going to go down. We're going to do it. How many of us who I never even heard of that name, Elon, but Elon Musk. Never heard of that name, that a name alone. But how many of you would like to have bought Tesla stock? How many years ago? 10 years ago. Where would you be now? Or for that matter, Microsoft or anything. It's always that coulda, woulda, shoulda. So does your buyer want to be the coulda, woulda, shoulda? Buy. If the rates go down, refinance. Live in it. Use it. Write the interest off at the end of the year. Lower your taxes. When you become a homeowner, you're paying the property taxes. Well, that comes out of your taxes at the end of the year. So you're going to save $200 to $300 a month just right off the bat, you know, and just think of what that does to you in your life, in your family. So I think everybody wants a home. Let's just make it happen.
Nice. So she used economics. She understands loans, right? She knows what's going on in the market and how to explain it. So being the economic market expert for your buyers and having them understand the impact of their coulda, shoulda, wouldas, right? And what that could do for their family. Okay, so the second is trade up the opportunity of a down market. So in the seller's market, we had plenty of sellers who said, I don't want to sell. What happens when I have to what? Buy, right? Like, what am I going to do? So this would be the opposite. I have a house that I want to sell, but I want top dollar and I have to buy, but it's a down market. So how do you talk your clients to that?
So I would like to know why you think it's a down market. Where are you hearing that it's a down market for sellers?
Yeah, everybody says it.
Why are we going? Well, but interest rates are going down, but that affects the buyer. We're in a reverse recession buyer seller. So here we're still in a seller's market, people. When we went into the last recession, we were in a buyer's market. We had a 2.2 million home surplus. And at the end of 2020, we had a 4.8 million home nationwide shortage. Well, we're still shortage. Okay, we're getting more houses. Now, King County, if we went back to those statistics, and we use your InfoSparks, those market statistics. You go in there for King County, you will see that actually houses, new listings are down in King County, but they're up in Pierce and Snohomish County. We're still, these charts, you're supposed to, you know, the market has shifted so fast, it's hard to explain to your buyers and your sellers right now. My explanation is we are shifting, and what is going to happen is buyers are going to go in, they're going to be in shock because their eyes, what they could buy, let's just use an 800 and the 650. That house that they're looking at 800,000, now the same payment is at 650, and they're going to go, yucko. Okay, I don't want to buy that. Once again, buy down the rate so they can get their $800,000 house again. But they don't know that. The consumer doesn't understand that. So now they think they're just going to get less and still have to pay more. Okay. For sellers, they're like, oh my gosh, there's still nothing for sale. I want this plus this and this, this, and this, this. Well, I think that this, and this has probably gone away, or at least not so much, because now buyers are forced to pay more because the interest rates are higher. So before they volunteered for it, now forced. Nobody likes to be forced to do anything. So my recommendation to my sellers is to prepare, is to really understand your demographic. You need to know your market area here to understand really what your demographic is, and then to understand what do those buyers want. If the majority of your buyers are in this area, what are they looking for? And update and upgrade your home toward that demographic, which is the majority. And that's how we've had the most success and had the greatest buyers that offering the highest, is really because they're going to fight over it because it's what they like. So as an example, Tukwila, mid-century craftsman. Well,
people love that old, but they want the new. So how do we take that old and fix it, leave the old stuff on there, but just kind of make it new, make it kind of cool, retro cool. So but that's what that demographic likes. That's what the colors that they like. So I think that that's where we need to focus with our sellers to do those smarter and those updates that are needed to have the opportunity to get in the bidding wars. But I would expect them to, the prices, if the price is too high, they're not going to sell. There's not enough houses out there to sell. There's 3 reasons why they won't sell. Could be the marketing, could be the condition. They don't have a scratch and sniff in the MLS. So, if it smells like a dog, I like dogs, but I don't like to smell them. So, that type of a thing, or there's something wrong. And people, the buyers still know that it's a seller's market. Why has this house been on for 20 days? What's wrong with it? So we're not in a buyer's market. If it was on 120, 180 days, we'd be in a buyer's market. We're not. So,
we're probably shifting into a more balanced market than buyers now.
I think that this market is going to, I think we're going to go, this recession that I believe that we're going to go into is going to be shorter lived, because I think this affects buyers more than it affects sellers. I really do. I think there's still not enough homes, but I do think that when raising interest rates is to slow everything down, I think that sellers thinking they're going to get 100, 200, 300 more than reality, we just have to keep everybody back in reality. So a lot of our listings have not been selling here because they're appraising. They're selling at list prices. The appraisal's here. Market area didn't go up. This happy seller just says that you bought to go to the bank. I don't think they'd be going to the bank like that now. Not today. I really don't. Mm-hmm.
Love it. Mm-hmm. So the third one is less is more, narrowing the field. So I'm going to read the paragraph of this. So it says, one of the challenges for buyers in a shift is there's simply too many choices. We still have a lack of inventory, right? It will continue to grow and there'll still be lots of choices for your buyers. So when home inventories rise from a few thousand to 10,000 or more, buyers may show some superficial interest but have an extremely difficult time getting serious. In my experience, they want to see all the things on the market, right? Would you agree with that? They
turn into a serial looker. That's what I call it, serial looker.
Oh, that's a serial looker, right? So
I even said that to people though. It's like, oh yeah, you're my serial looker, and then laugh.
So this one is about learning the skills to using that motivation really of the buyer and learning to walk them through all of the homes on the market and helping them make a decision. What does that look like for you when you're walking your buyers through that process?
Mm-hmm. Well, now I get to go like this, but really to walk through the process, I'm really going to want to know what their needs are. You can, if a big yard is a big deal, they can fix other things, but you can't add a yard. What are things that they can live with? What are the deal breakers, and really understanding what those are. What are the deal breakers versus, what can they live with? And then how do you position them and strategize and make sure you position your buyer so that way you're winning those offers. I still think we're going to have multiple offers.
Mm-hmm. And the reality right now, there's really not 10,000 houses for them to look at.
No, and that's how shift, and that's really, we are in a time, I sit with sellers and I said, we're in a time that we have never seen before. So never means never. I mean, really, if you're not selling 3, 4, 6 houses a month, you're not going to feel that pivot. You're not going to be feeling that because it's just like boom, boom, boom. Every weekend, every day, everything is different. It is shifting that quickly. And it's going to either have a glacial, as they say in the shift book, effect on your buyers when you have, I use that page 189. I love page 189. Use that. I use that in my marketing book. This is either to have sellers understand that when that interest rate goes up, well, it's still from 3 to 4%, which is little, doesn't seem like that much, right? 4 to 5%, still really low. I bought my first house with 7 3/4 interest rate. I'm still here, I'm still alive, and I still have my farm. After 20 years, I still have my farm, okay? I didn't die, and guess what? I had to refinance, right? And we'll get to pay it off. So I think that and got locked into that. And so I think that people, you always want to help their fear, dispel the fear, and then show them the benefit and show that how can they benefit? How can you help them build their real estate wealth? Those are the conversations that I do have with everybody. How are we going to help you build your real estate wealth? How are we going to position you to be able to grow and have that opportunity?
Yeah, but you just talked about the fourth one, which is opportunity time.
Sorry.
No, perfect.
I think ahead, I'm sorry.
You always, she thinks 20 steps ahead. That's what she told me yesterday.
Well, that's what they keep telling me.
Always working it. So you talked to them about the opportunity of the market.
Oh, there's opportunity in everything. I mean, even when COVID hit, oh my gosh, opportunity everywhere. You know, never be negative. If you as a realtor realize and look back at the facts, an average realtor sells, you go to the National Association of Realtors, the statistics, 1 house a month. You only need 12 people. So don't panic, people. Don't worry. You need to have the confidence in your ability. How many homes do you want to sell? What do you want to do? I mean, you can make a great living, 1 or 2 homes a month in this job. It's an amazing job. Okay. So here, what do you want to do? So don't think that don't take it so overwhelming. I think that's how we all approach it. It's your business. And I'd be happy, ask me, what can I do? What are you guys seeing in your business that those opportunities? What are you seeing in your business? Because here, there's always opportunity. If since 2016, on average in Washington State, in Washington Realtors, houses have grown since 2016, January, 2.2% a month throughout the whole Northwest MLS. Is that a bad investment? That's a nice, slow growing, that's nice growth. That's steady growth. I mean, you have some of the crazy stuff, but that's all balanced out. It's great growth. That's growth. And you're going to have the ups and downs, and that's going to happen. But you're living there using it, writing the interest rate off. Everybody wants a home. So that's what you want to find out. Get to the core of their heart, dispel their fear, and show them the opportunity that they have, because they can live in it and use it, and then turn around and sell it. Now, don't give them the expectation that you're going to do this in 3 years. Absolutely not. That's insanity. We don't normally see this growth. So be realistic with it. Don't set that expectation up. If that's your expectation, maybe it is better for you to rent right now. And they're like, oh, I don't want to hear that, even though that's what they said. Well, maybe I should rent right now. Okay, well, maybe I should. Okay, well, maybe you should. Maybe you should. Is that what's best? If that's what's best, if you're not ready for that, you don't want to be stuck. You don't want to be tied down. Well, yeah, but I want to write that interest rate off. Well, but you don't want to be tied down. You change their motive. There's like, oh, okay, well, no, actually, no, it's okay. I can do that. You have to let them come to that conclusion. You can't make their mind up from. They're coming to you as a professional. Just change your mind around.
Awesome. You guys have any questions?
Please. Yeah, please. Ask me questions. How would I handle it? I may totally screw this up.
Throw objections at her.
Absolutely. Lene's got to have a good one. She's brilliant. Just you want to learn from somebody, talk to Lene.
So Lene, what we're seeing in the market too, just talk about, we're not at 10,000 yet, right? So the pendulum always swings. We've been like way over here, and we just hit that point where it's no longer going, it's no longer moving right? So it's going to take some time for it to move back this direction. And we'll see if we get up to 10,000 homes. I can imagine that at this point, but.
Oh, we never imagined that we'd be, first of all, selling a house for $150,000. I never thought that when I got into business, to sell it, in what, 2011, when the market bottomed out, 2012, that February, January, that time. Yeah.
Strategy wise, if you had a house to list today, which you probably do, are you listing it and saying offers are reviewed upon receipt or sold review date?
Well, right now I've even seen some ads, seller offering $10,000, but there's no scare here. I think there's no fear here. I think that we have a new buyer pool, okay? It's not, your buyers have just shifted, okay? They're shifted. So the key is in the strategy is you need to, where a house needs to be listed is where that's gonna appraise at, okay? Now we can't, and then what's influencing it in the area, okay? So there's all those factors and we got to put that puzzle together. Then that seller needs to make up their mind, because if you do this, we can talk about this is what happens here, but we are pivoting. So it might be a little better tactic to be a little more conservative to really attract those people back in there and get that new buyer pool who got spoiled looking at that existing stuff and get them to buy, get them interested in it. Or you just got brand new buyers that are excited. And guess what? They're excited to buy. You have something that they want to buy. That's it. You know, do everything you can to feature that home and position it so you're maximizing your exposure. I don't think June is the best time to put a house on the market because I don't think you have as many eyes looking at it. I think everybody's doing crazy everything. Graduations, parties, you know, everything. Baby showers, weddings, everything. It's a busy time. So it's not that people aren't looking, you just don't have as many. And then especially with the rates going up, I think buyers are gonna be like, well, I don't want to buy, it's gonna go down. So I don't want to pay attention, I don't care. So I'm just gonna wait. And then we get into July, it's like, dang, I gotta get my kids in school. About middle of July, it's like, yeah, let's start looking again. And then the market picks back up. Watch that Allen Pope. That shows you right there the cycles. Pay attention to those cycles. It shows you right there. Everything's in InfoStarts. It's all right there.
All great points.
Well, one of the things she talked about yesterday too was knowing when you're listing, right? Knowing what's going on in all the houses around you. Like you have to really know your competition so that you can position your sellers above the rest of the competition, right?
You're still using review date, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's shifted enough. Not to mention, I've really positioned my business because I have a very special offer review date. So I have a listing day that I'm dedicating to my sellers that I have that day, and that is my number one concern. That day we're listing that you have my focus. My focus. Bam. No. Anyway, sorry, sweetie. But no,
she like saw it. She was like.
But to focus, and then on offer review date, not only, and I am setting that time aside so we can call every buyer's broker, every buyer's lender. We're going to make sure that every buyer's vetted so that way, and everything is put into command. Keller, this is an amazing company that gives you a beautiful opportunity to present yourself in an extremely professional way by using command and putting your offers in command. If you can email them.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, but it's true. It's true. Everything's driven from command. I love data. I like facts. I like numbers. I have statistics, and everything that I do is changed. I update these. People say, oh, what's your listing presentation? Well, which time? Okay, well, this is this time. This is this one now, but it's always migrating. It's always changing. I only buy 10 or 12 of them at a time because, you know, I only need them to last a couple of weeks because that market's changing and we're updating it. We're changing it. It's pivoting. Let's go. Change it. We're going. I think that you have to pivot with the market. If you're going on 3, 6, 8, 12 appointments, or are you going on 2? How many appointments you want to go on? You can do it. Just be positive. And bring your crystal ball.
I love that too. Thank you so much for that. I love that she brought props.
Because everybody wonders. I take this out with customers. I said this just like there's a little light in it. I just do that. I leave it there. I have no clue. I also have an envelope that has my contract. It's a letter of commitment. I was just sitting there in an envelope, just sitting there. I have no clue. Sometimes I take that envelope and I pull it back. I don't give it to them. I've done that several times. It's like, no.
Love it.
I don't know.
Okay.
Doesn't work out.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to go through some of our upcoming events. Thank you so much.
My props take a little long to leave, sorry.
So it is,
Just pan over
you're
there.
fine. It is Pride Month, so we have Pride shirts available for you, RBN, that you can order. Here's the QR code for those. It's also in your email if you haven't seen it yet. So yeah, you can get that. It's exciting. Coach's Corner with Rita every Tuesday except for this today from 1 to 2. Except for today, yeah. So you want to be the best solo agent. I hope you guys come on Thursday. Jennifer Thompson and I are teaching how we have built our businesses as solo agents and the systems and models that we use. And we're going to share those with you, and we're super excited. So I hope you guys will
sign up.
Yes, we would love for you to sign up. Yeah, there's a QR code. It's also on the training.
So do that today.
She's like, cool. What else do we have there? Oh, the Power of Mission. Have any of you done this? Yeah, I'm signed up for it. I'm really excited. So Terry Gerno is going to be coming in, helping us discover what our personal missions are so that we can help serve our clients better and serve our life better, right?
And Debbie's providing lunch.
Ooh, and Debbie's providing lunch. We like food. Food is good. Okay, John Hampton's next class, the buyer agency agreements. That's going to be on June 13th from 2 to 3 on Zoom. And donuts and Bloody Marys for dads. Okay, so donuts and Bloody Marys for dads. It's going to be, I guess I could use my thing instead of trying to turn it. It's going to be Friday, June the 17th from 10 to 11:30. Is that up here?
Yeah.
In the kitchen. Okay, and then we have Quantum Leap. Linda McKissick is teaching. If you guys have not had the opportunity to take a class with Linda McKissick, I would recommend that this is on your list too. Quantum Leap is amazing. Linda's fantastic. And it's a great opportunity for mindset work, all that good stuff. And then we have Mega Agent Camp, August 23rd and 24th. They have early bird tickets. If you guys plan on going, get your tickets now because it's discounted. You can do virtual or in person.
I did hear rumor that price is changing next week too. I mean, that's a rumor. I have no proof. But
price is probably changing next week. So
I'm gonna wait until the market goes down.
yeah.
That's awesome.
I've been watching reels. I'm just like,
have a great day, guys. That's it. That's all I got.
yeah.